Kuzampo and a very warm welcome to Weekly News Magazine program with me, Samtin Dolkar. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Getsin attend the enthronement ceremony of His Majesty Emperor Naruhito in Japan. Government to invest more on teacher training programs to improve quality of education in the country. And Thunderbolt to represent Bhutan at International Robotics Competition. His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Getsin attended the enthronement ceremony of His Majesty Emperor Naruhito on Tuesday. The ceremony was held at the Akasaka Palace in Tokyo.
The ceremony was attended by royalty and other state guests and dignitaries from around 180 countries around the world.
国民の幸せと世界の発展し、国際社会の友好といたしました。私たち国民一同は、
The enthronement ceremony, known in Japanese as Sokui no-rei, follows ancient rituals. His Majesty Emperor Naruhito is the 126th Emperor of Japan. Following the ceremony, His Majesty the King granted an audience to the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, at the Akasaka State Guest House. In the evening, Their Majesties graced the court banquet hosted by Their Majesties the Emperor and Empress at the Imperial Palace. This is Pasandoji for BBS News.
His Majesty the King granted NCRP land kidu to 8,532 beneficiaries of Paro Dzongkhag at the Rinpung Dzong on 19th October. The land kidu is part of the nationwide reform on land initiated upon the Royal Command in 2007. Following the National Cadastral Resurvey program of the entire country, His Majesty has granted land and exemption of fines in 18 Dzongkhags of Bhutan. Over 137,000 acres of land have been granted to almost 132,000 beneficiaries across the country. Coinciding with the UN Day celebration on 18th October, the UNFPA presented an award to Her Majesty the Queen Mother Sangichoten Wangchu. It is in recognition of Her Majesty's role in helping advance the rights of women and girls in Bhutan as the Goodwill Ambassador of UNFPA for the last 20 years. Her Majesty has been traveling to remote villages to raise awareness on issues ranging from safe motherhood to sexually transmitted diseases and HIV/AIDS. The Prime Minister says the government is going to invest more on teacher training programs to improve the quality of education in the country. This was shared while meeting the GUPS and citizens at the 10th Dzongkhag Tsokdo and Gyeok Tsokde Chairpersons Conference recently in Bumthang. The Prime Minister also said the government will stop the system of funding scholarships for class 11 and 12 students studying in private schools in a few years' time. He said they will instead be absorbed in the government schools.
According to the Prime Minister, the government will revamp teaching programs in Samtse and Paro colleges of education by investing more in capacity development of lecturers working in the two colleges. He also announced that trainees of the two colleges will be paid the highest monthly stipend as compared to students of other colleges under the Royal University of Bhutan. The trainees will also be guaranteed a job after the training is over.
Poroda samti jondar be lebedeso das chumi thai kyupchin tamara khongse ni la khongse saujin khongi phagi jondar di gutsu pha jondar besai ga leben yu top matop se mapadra mi bela jachile jachaga chini yu kyuni gyakam nane kyuni de pinagi di acha gyakam jekha yagi juju gyakam de chikar pinde lejim zoshina acha phalegi thai kyumi gi lokchong besami gi lebedeso gi gyakam jekha yagi suni gi kopyugo be sunwina.
The Prime Minister also said the government is expecting to enroll another 1,500 class 10 passed students in private schools in the next academic year. He, however, said that this system would be discontinued in a few years' time and that all class 10 passed students would then study in government higher secondary schools.
여기 숨질에 그라 주탐나 파스티미 가라 중기 추진나 조수 세션입니다. 계획이나 같이 스콜러십 빈이 피미수 우세. 다음에 배워진 계획이 독자기 진단지수 대가치도 아티지 투마기바 요이라. 기나부기 가든지에 켄나. 계획합도 페메 미세도 페메 디나팅이래 그라 주탐네 추진나 조마수미수 같이 팜냠 추수기 할 수 있다. 아니 수도 팬니 존이기 때문에 다로 계획이 독자 진단이니 강연되고 같은 라빔 속에서 주는 게.
The Prime Minister said he instead asked the private school owners to improve the standard of their schools and make them better than that of the government schools during a meeting 4 months ago. He said this way the children from well-to-do families would opt to study in private schools. To improve the standard of private schools, he said the government will support the private school owners with loans, provide experienced teachers from government schools wherever required, and give approval to hire foreign teachers. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister also said the government is looking for funds to fulfill the breastfeeding allowance. He said the allowance will not just be specifically for breastfeeding, but will also take care of eligible mothers and their children.
마치 해마 유시에 온데도 아이 아주 옹치니기 뒤세미 지답시다. 아니 네가 직감이 있으면 주로 공업도 되다 있어 주님이 롱이기 바지디 주두 사이간에 소위 한번도 시를 하나 시티 주니 있으다. 대전 ECCD 구수 주니라. 다니 배워진 점 동투비 주수님에서 다니 소위 이름이 닌둠메가 아주 많이 주도이다. 마치 이마 아주 아이도 옹기 튜브진이 세미디다. 다리기리보다 많이 숨떡 비하야 아시스 주님이다. 차시디 썸다 태다 주기노스타 점고베스노니 동다르 피비디 아니 있어 주님이다.
Meanwhile, the government is soon going to approve a 1.5 billion item worth information and communications technology or ICT program under the education flagship program. The government intends to introduce ICT courses in schools across the country from class 4 or 5 onwards and from pre-primary level if possible. Kipchu, BBS News, Pumthang.
Library periods in schools are limited to once in a week, quite often leaving no time for students to select a good book. Hence, open library, a place where students can go anytime, read and spend some meaningful leisurely moments with their friends. Our reporter Sherab Dorji has this story from the remote Changju Primary School in Samtsi.
The Changju Primary School in Norgegang-gyeok in Samtsi has 133 students, is short of teachers, does not have a librarian, and its library block is a makeshift hut. It was the perfect opportunity for one of the teachers, Ishitendup, to start a project called Circle of Ripples Open Library.
In a remote school like this, first of all, there are not much library books and even lesser opportunities. That prompted me to think about starting an open library. Children waste their interval and lunch periods. We wanted to engage them even during recess. That is how the idea was born.
Initially, there were concerns that children might steal the books from the open library.
Even if the children take the books, there is nothing to lose. It is not like they will eat it and waste it out. If the books are taken home, someday someone will read it, be it their neighbors or siblings. So we didn't mind the books getting stolen.
Right now, we have given responsibilities to class 3 and 4 children to take care of the books. They take turn to open the library in the morning and put the books back in the evening.
The open library, which started off at Changju Primary School, has now reached 11 schools across 5 districts.
With
the open library, we get new books. It's interesting.
We can read about places we haven't been to or read about other culture. Books can be our guide anywhere. We can get new knowledge and stories.
The library books come from donors across the country. The project accepts new and used books but do not accept cash contributions. Volunteers are stationed in several districts to collect books and distribute as and when required. Sharabdoji, BBS News, Samsi.
Telecommunications technology, including social media, has been playing a crucial role in the field of telemedicine. According to the Health Ministry, more than 2,500 teleconsultations were carried out in the country last year. These were carried out from 35 health facilities identified as telemedicine sites.
While most consultations are conducted over the telephone, many are also being carried out using social media, mostly WeChat and Facebook Messenger. Use of social media platform for teleconsultations was introduced in the country in 2009. Telemedicine allows the healthcare providers to exchange valid information for evaluation, diagnosis, and treatment without the need for in-person visits.
The telemedicine is very important now because we have very good connectivity. We have high bandwidth connectivity, for example, Duke Research and Education Network, which is being developed by Department of Information Technology and Telecom at the MOAC. So with this kind of network, we can have improved telemedicine services. They can provide faster video conferencing, the quality video. They can provide quality images.
He says even doctors have limitations, so telemedicine is the best way to consult experienced specialists when in need. However, telemedicine also has its own drawbacks.
Whenever you set up technologies, we need equipments and technologies for telemedicine. So in order to set up those technologies and things like that, we need a budget, and this is one prominent challenge all the time that we face. And other things that we don't have trained people in using those things, those telemedicine system or services, and ICT are not readily available in all the health facilities.
To further enhance the use of telemedicine, the first ever telemedicine workshop with assistance from Kyushu University Hospital in Japan was also held in the capital recently. This is Kalsung Chorin for BBS News.
Her Majesty the Queen Mother Tringpem Onchu launched a book on medicinal plants growing in the high altitudes of Bhutan on 18th October. Her Royal Highness Princess Chimiyanzu Onchu also attended the launch.
The book contains information on 90% of the medicinal herbs growing in the high altitudes of the country. It is compiled in Dzongkha.
As a country rich in medicinal herbs, Bhutan has over 500 medicinal plants, and this book records around 220 such plants growing in the higher altitudes. The book has details such as the local and scientific names of the herbs, its descriptions, useful parts and benefits.
Around 500 copies of the book were published with financial support from the Bhutan Foundation.
The book will help conserve the traditional knowledge of medicinal plants. It will help people recognize them. It will benefit the people of high altitudes to earn a livelihood out of medicinal plants and at the same time learn to preserve such plants. Above all, the book will benefit the trainees undertaking traditional medicine courses the most. That way, the production of herbal medicines will be enhanced.
The book Materia Medica on high altitude plants of Bhutan will be available in public libraries across the country. Along with the resource book, Her Majesty the Queen Mother also released 3 storybooks for primary school students, a board game and a jigsaw puzzle. All of them are about snow leopard. Kinzong Haden for BBS News.
Lonely Planet, a travel guidebook firm, has chosen Bhutan as the best travel destination for 2020. The list featured in the Best in Travel 2020 book was compiled based on topicality, unique experiences, and wow factor.
The Lonely Planet ranked Bhutan at the top for its low tourism impact policy. Besides, it is also for the country's rich culture and tradition with its pristine, sustainable environment. In particular, its status of being the only carbon-negative country in the world. The entry for Bhutan states, Bhutan is no ordinary place. It is the last great Himalayan kingdom, shrouded in mystery and magic, where a traditional Buddhist culture carefully embraces global developments.
We are very grateful to our king, our monarchs and our leaders for bringing Bhutan where we are today, and of course our stakeholder, even the visitors, of believing in Bhutan and making sure that Bhutan is number one. So we're very proud of this. We're very thankful to every one of them.
The result, involving 195 countries, was based on the recommendations of visitors from across the world and online editors of Lonely Planet Group.
Writers and contributors from across the world, so they zoom it down into many countries, and then finally to have Bhutan featured as the top country by these well-experienced experts is an honor for us. So this is how they come about in nominating and recognizing countries as top countries to travel next year.
The Director General of the Tourism Council of Bhutan said, although it may be a bit too soon, the recognition in a way fulfills the Council's ambitious vision of taking tourism to the top. He added the achievement should further encourage the TCB to continue working hard in taking the tourism sector to greater heights. Over 270,000 tourists visited Bhutan in 2018. This is an increase by 7.6% as compared to the previous year. Kinzang Ladin, BBS News.
From disabled-friendly infrastructure to more employment opportunities, a new hope for persons with disabilities has finally made its way into Bhutan. The National Policy for Persons with Disabilities 2019 was approved by the government in August. The National Assembly in June this year called for immediate need for a national policy for persons living with disabilities. The policy has interventions in education, health, and economic security, among others. Of the many components, the Gross National Happiness Commission and other related individuals and agencies say that physical accessibility is one of the most important provisions that needs immediate attention. For instance, under physical accessibility, the provision says that the RGOB shall ensure that all new public buildings incorporate universal designs and features that make it accessible to all people, including persons with disabilities. And the Ministry of Works and Human Settlements and local governments shall be responsible for ensuring that all public buildings are accessible to persons with disabilities. Although ministries and agencies have been doing their bit in working towards an inclusive society, the policy aims to bring proper coordination among all stakeholders.
What we don't have is a coordinated interventions or programs because of the lack of policy for persons with disabilities. So now we want to bring in all the agencies who are providing services for persons with disability together. So there is a need, and we also need to have a clear direction how we are approaching these persons with disabilities, their issues, their challenges. So there is a need for policy for persons with disabilities.
The document itself is very comprehensive and quite clear, but the thing is now is the responsibility of the government as a representative of the people, and also each and every one of us as an individual, as an agency. I think we all have to work together to make this document work, because document may be perfect, but if people who are implementing do not utilize it and work, then I think perfect document doesn't become a perfect action.
500 persons with disabilities across 20 dzongkaks were interviewed and need assessments conducted. Samtandolkar, PBS News. The Office of Consumer Protection has established that Magnisa Bhutan and Oriens Bhutan are operating a pyramid scheme business. And as per the Consumer Protection Act of Bhutan 2012 and Consumer Protection Rules and Regulations 2015, such mode of business operation is prohibited and an unfair trade practice. Magnisa and Oriens are global networking businesses that sell cosmetics, body products, and health supplements.
According to a press release from the Office of Consumer Protection, OCP, its investigation into the case ascertained that the business practices are engaged in misleading representation of goods and services, misleading advertisement, deceptive practices, trade practices that lack professional diligence, and material distortion of economic behaviors of the consumers. As per the OCP, the scheme extorts members, exploits personal relationship, unfairly targets vulnerable groups of consumers, and compels the members to endlessly recruit downline members to earn promised rewards and commissions. Magnisa Bhutan and Oriens Bhutan also misused their trade licenses, which allowed them only retail business activities.
After establishing that the mode of business operation is a pyramid scheme operated by Magnisa Bhutan and Oriens Bhutan, we have formally notified Magnisa Bhutan and the Oriens Bhutan to discontinue the operation of such kind of business schemes. With this, they'll have to discontinue within the 14 days as we have notified.
He added, in case the two business entities fail to follow the notice, the OCP will cancel their trade licenses and impose fines and penalties as per the Consumer Protection Act. The office, in the meantime, will carry out a study on the prevalence of other such schemes in the country.
So, in collaboration with various government agencies and stakeholders such as Department of Trade, Department of Drug Regulatories, then Regional Trade and Industries Office, then Department of Revenue and Customs, Royal Monetary Authorities. So we will constantly monitor and see the such kind of business practices are still continuing in the market.
At the same time, the OCP reminds the general public to refrain from engaging in and promotion of such kind of unlawful business practices. For Pemasong, Sonomongdi, BBS News.
6 students along with a mentor from Losaling Middle Secondary School and 2 technical advisors from Fab Lab Bhutan will represent the country in a robotics competition First Global Challenge 2019 to be held in Dubai this month. The team left for Dubai on Tuesday. This year, more than 2,000 students from 193 countries will take part in the event.
A team of 6 teenage boys and girls between the age of 14 and 18 from Thimphu will represent Bhutan at the robotics competition. And this is their robot, the Thunderbot. The theme is Ocean Opportunities, and the challenge for the participants is to build robots to clean up oceans. It focuses on ocean pollution that negatively impacts marine life and global populations.
Our robot has to, like as you can see behind me, should be able to pick up the balls of different sizes which represent pollutants, and from the simulated ocean, and pick up and efficiently and deposit in a different recycling system. And based on that, we will be getting points. And we will be playing not alone, but we will be clubbed with aligned with other teams.
Through this challenge, youths all over the world get inspired and they can know about the technology, about the importance of technology. As the world ventures into science and technology, it is very important for us to know about how important technology is and how we can make sure that we could have a better world to live in using the technologies and innovations.
This team are the champion of the National STEM Olympiad 2019, which was held in Mongar. The first global challenge is dubbed to be the Olympics of robotics. The platform is an opportunity for the children to grow and engage in technology. Each year, the event addresses one major challenge facing the planet and encourages young participants to solve the problem through teamwork and innovative thinking. Bhutan started participating in the first global challenge from last year, which was held in Mexico City. For Choni Dema, this is Tanden Finso for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Please do join us next week. Until then, this is Samtan Dolkar saying goodbye.